Hi everyone, it's Rabbi Dr. Jack Cohen with the Dating and Shalom Bayis series. I hope everyone is doing well out there and staying safe. If anyone needs my help in any way from anywhere in the world on dating or Shalom Bayis, getting matched up, or you'd like help in putting together a top 10 list of what you need in a soulmate, or you'd like a copy of my PDF on questions to ask, or you need help in getting trained in dating communication, or help in Shalom Bayis, you can reach me from anywhere in the world at 305-206-1916 or email me at drjackcohen18@gmail.com. Or simply reach me by penning me a letter to my website at drjackdating.com. One of the consequences I want to speak about today is what happens when there's no Shalom Bayis, the harm that happens to the kids. What happens to the children? The fallout from lack of Shalom Bayis can be catastrophic to our children. Recently, a person where I daven happened to approach me and told me that they were having tremendous problems with their kids. When I probed a little bit, I found out that the Shalom Bayis was horrible, to the point where I found out, he revealed to me, this is a young couple in their 30s. The wife hadn't gone to the mikveh in almost 3 cycles. That's a travesty. As you know, I've spoken at this at length, quoting my Rabbi, who said that a woman who doesn't go to the mikveh and refuses to go to the mikveh, that's a capital crime. That's a terrible sin. So let's talk about why a great marriage is critical to raising great children. And if you lack Shalom Bayis, it's terrible for the growth and the development of your kids. And certainly we want the best kids that we can possibly raise. So here are 5 reasons a good marriage is essential for raising great children. You're passionate about raising your children in the best possible way. You've attended parenting classes, read books, and have been conscientious about being a good mom or dad. There's one key ingredient that you might have forgotten, and that's the relationship with the one who helped make you a parent in the first place. That is your spouse. Working on your marriage may be the most important thing you'll ever do because it ensures the emotional health of your children. And who doesn't want great kids today? And how sad it is to hear when great families see children go off the derech who are doing drugs and all types of horrible things. Here's how. Step number 1 to raising great children through having great marriage is structure and stability. Children need structure and stability. They have special antennas to pick up tension. They know when the parents are not getting along. When they sense you're not getting along, they won't tell you directly, but they're sure to act out, which only leads to one thing: problems in school, and then you have to go to counseling. Your children need to feel taken care of and protected. If your relationship is chaotic with your husband or wife, you'll create a home environment of absolute chaos. A stable marriage provides a comfortable framework where your kids can focus on being kids and not be distracted by the anxiety that is somehow wrong at home. Children actually think they are to blame for you being upset. They blame themselves. It's a terrible thing. When they see mommy and daddy fighting, they think it's perhaps they caused it. They won't realize that your bad mood is because you're not getting along with your spouse. And unfortunately, this can have terrible consequences on your kids later on in life, where they can't seem to get into a good relationship or stay with one. Reason number 2 why it's important to have a good marriage and raising great children is parenting on the same page. Parents need to show a united front. Both father and mother need to be in agreement. If you don't get along with your spouse, it's going to be quite a challenge to work together as parents. When you have divergent views on raising your children, the children get stuck in the middle and wind up taking sides, and that's not what you want. In most relationships, one parent assumes the role of disciplinarian, while the other is more non-caring. If both parents work together, however, they can parent in a balanced way. If they can't, they risk making one parent the bad guy and undermining the parent-child relationship. And we know all too well what happens when children see that one parent doesn't care. They know how to push those buttons to get what they want. While even the most connected couples may have a difference of opinions on child raising, they're able to work through their differences and parent effectively, as long as they're united. Ishto kigufa, as I always say in Hebrew. The man and woman are like one body. Learn how to work together so you can be on the same page for your children. After all, you want to raise the best kids that you can. Reason number 3 why a great marriage will lead to great children is modeling healthy relationships. History repeats itself, and this is certainly true when it comes to relationships. I have seen many young couples experiencing the same relationship breakdown because they saw it in their own homes. They just copy what they saw in their parents. More important than any book or speech is how we model ourselves to our children. You are a digmat chayim. You're a living example. The relationship your children witness in your home will be the factor that impacts most in how they'll conduct themselves when they get married and how they behave in their own relationships. Most parents wish they could leave their child an inheritance. Even if you have no money to leave, you want to know what the greatest inheritance you can leave them with? You can give them the gift of having seen great role models such as loving, stable relationship in a marriage, which will be you and your husband, you and your wife. If you're suffering in your marriage, you surely won't want your kids to experience what you're going through. Work on your marriage so that you can spare them the grief and provide a great model they can look forward to and emulating when they become parents themselves. Reason number 4 why you need a good marriage to raise great children is accepting your child. The best way to practice being a good parent is learn how to be a good spouse. When you employ relationship skills with your spouse, You'll have a much easier time applying them to your children since you are already applying those skills to your husband and wife. It's so much easier now to take those very same skills and apply them one generation down to your son and daughter. One of the greatest challenges in any relationship is fully accepting the other person. As you learn to exercise your compassion muscle by listening to your husband or your wife without judgment and making space for them in your life, you'll find it easier to do so with your kids because you've already practiced it out with your husband or wife. When you accept your children by validating their feelings without reacting, you help them build self-esteem, which is critical for a child to function, especially today. You want children that have and possess self-esteem. Even when you disagree, you can assure them that their feelings make sense. Working on your marriage gives you invaluable experience. By the time your children grow old enough to articulate themselves, you'll be well prepared to be there for them in a caring and sympathetic and empathetic way. And last reason why having a good marriage will help raise great children is you won't lash out at the children. Children can be quite a handful at times. If you're feeling overwhelmed and have no help, your real anger may be with your spouse. But the immediate victims, unfortunately, the korbanos or the sacrifices may be the kids. You may be upset at your husband and wife, but guess who you're going to take it out on? Guess who you're going to lash out on? Your husband or your wife. Being more irritable in general, you're likely to yell at your children when it gets too hard to handle. They'll bear the brunt of issues that you could have worked out with your husband or wife. When you're feeling good about your spouse and have an open line of communication with him or her, your stress threshold will be lower, and making it less likely that you'll take it out and smash your children verbally. You owe it to your children to make your marriage a great one. A vibrant marriage will help provide structure and stability for your children, enable you to parent them on the same page, and model healthy relationships so they can grow up to be great parents themselves, great husbands and wives themselves. They'll learn relationship skills by following your lead, which will help them to accept their own children. And make sure your frustration doesn't come to hurt your children. Take action today to build the best marriage that you can, so the consequence can be that you'll have great children as a consequence to that. So it's very important that we work on our marriages because we are great role models. We don't want our children to suffer. We want them to grow up with self-esteem and great self-confidence. Well, guess what? The laboratory, the greatest laboratory that they're going to learn from is our own marriages. If we do a great job, then consequently they'll also live a great life and be able to have great dynamic marriages. And if you need my help in any way, any of this area, especially with children or marriages and children, please feel free to reach out to me at 305-206-1916. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and a great week.